The head wraps that y'all be rocking, that's the African lineage, and I doubt y'all gonna stop rocking it. So a couple of weeks ago, Burna Boy was asked a question, is why does he think that the African diaspora should come home? And this was his response to that question.
So I'm here with a man himself, the African giant Burna Boy, and I want to ask you, why is it important that the diaspora come home?
You know why? Okay, let's use America for example, right? Because we can use anywhere.
Yeah.
But let's just use America, right? Why do you think the Chinese American, has their respect, and they don't go through the things that African Americans go through? Even though they might go through their struggles, I'm not taking anything away from them, but they don't go through what the African American goes through. You know why? Because the Chinese American has a base. He actually knows where he's from in China.
Right. And they have support from the Chinese government.
You understand? Like the Italian American.
They have Italy.
They know where their grandparents came from in Italy before. They know the first.
So of course we all know what happened after he made this video. Black Twitter went crazy. They definitely criticized him for what he had to say, and due to so much backlash, Burna Boy came back behind and he apologized to the African Americans, and this is the apology that he had to say to the Black Americans. It's sad to see that in 2023 there are still such Black people who would prefer we stay divided and conquered. Maybe it's my accent or something, but I never said you are African and not American. I also did not say Africa is part of heaven. You deserve all the land and reparations you want from America, and I'm 100% in support of that. All I've ever done is try to make you understand that you have Africa too that loves you, and I believe coming together as brothers and sisters is the only way forward for you as Black people worldwide. You work against the progress of our people worldwide if your goal is to keep us divided. Now, when I saw the video, I was not offended. And I know people that, who are going to come and watch my channel will say that's because I'm married to a Ghanaian. Even if I wasn't married to a Ghanaian, I still would not have had a problem with what he said, because I don't think he was meaning it in a malicious type of way. I'm gonna read y'all some Twitter comments, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna be real, because that's what I do on here. I'm gonna be real about the situation. So I'm just gonna read a couple of Twitter comments that really stood out to me, and then we're gonna come on back on here and we're gonna really get on into it. So these are the comments that were on Twitter about this whole Burna Boy situation. Why are Africans only obsessed with Black Americans? They can be anywhere in the world, and they will bring and discuss Black Americans. Please discuss Caribbean people. They would love to go to Africa probably. African people, U.S. foundational Black Americans know who we are. FBA Wisconsin woman to Burna Boy. We built America. Worry about your country that is in shambles. All right, so of course the comments continue going on and on and on. There were some that were definitely criticized him for what he said, and then there were others who were like, Burna Boy, you spoke the facts, and we don't really know what the uproar is about. So this is what I gotta say on this, y'all. First and foremost, let's talk about what do Black people say is Black culture. What do they mean by that? Why they get all angry when particularly people from the African continent come back and be like, hey, Black people don't have no culture, they don't know where they come from, and yada yada yada. So what do Black people even consider to be culture? So let's talk about that first and foremost. So when the enslaved Africans, I'm going to put the emphasis on Africans, because I think sometimes people in the Black community want to dismiss that fact. So when the enslaved Africans came to the United States of America, the Europeans stripped them of their entire identity. They stripped them of their language, their customs, their culture, their name, and basically said, hey, you're not bringing any of that Africanism on over here. Sorry. We also have to keep in mind that these enslaved Africans were coming from different areas of these African civilizations, so they were not speaking the same language. So they had to end up creating a language that everybody could understand. So what the enslaved Africans did when they became slaves, they started then to create an identity and create a culture in order for them to have some commonality between them. And so they did create a sort of a language. They did create sort of like a food, music and everything like that, that they were able to then pass down from generations to generations. So when black people talk about the black culture, they're talking about things such as the food that we eat. You know, it's commonly called soul food. You're talking about cornbread, fried chicken, fried catfish, black eyed peas, fried okra, collard greens, macaroni and cheese. You got that gumbo going on Louisiana. That's what people like to call soul food, what we like to call soul food, sweet potato pie. That makes my mouth water just talking about it. And then of course you got the music, you got the rhythm and blues, you got jazz, you got the Harlem Renaissance, of course. That was that literary movement where you had a lot of the music coming up, you got the art coming up, you got poetry coming up, you have all these things coming up within the black community. You have, of course, the pro-black movement with the Black Panther movement, you got the civil rights movement going on, and you have all of these things that are encompassing black culture. And of course we got hip-hop that also came about as well. We got different dances that we do that all encompasses the black culture, and that's what black people were talking about when they talk about black culture. The things that we wear, how we talk, how we are in different situations. All of this is what kind of black people in the United States are saying, hey, this is black culture. This is what I have to say about that, though. What's wrong with black culture, however, is that we're not doing a very good job of preserving it. As black people, we have stopped making it a priority that our young people continue to know it. In order for it to be a culture, culture is something shared. It's a shared belief, it's shared traditions, it's shared customs, it's shared language that are what? Passed down from generations to generations and generations. And unfortunately within the black community, we've stopped doing that. We've stopped passing down these traditions to the next generation, and slowly we're losing the black culture. And we don't know what encompasses the black culture anymore because we're not carrying it on. Now, one thing I have to say is that yes, soul food was very, very big in the black community, but as you can see, there's a lot of people now in the black community that are vegans or vegetarians. They're now saying soul food is unhealthy, that is leading to high blood pressure and diabetes and heart problems in the black community, and that we no longer really need to be eating it now. So now it's become a health hazard. That people in the black community are now saying, hey, you don't need to be eating that. You don't need to be eating that fried chicken. You don't need to be eating that macaroni and cheese. And so the soul food that used to be a big thing in the black community is now, to me, not as big as it used to be, because now they're saying it's killing black people. So when people say we don't have a black culture, what I have to say about that is very hard now to see what it is. We know that a lot of things originated from black people. We know that, but now we can't really hone in, well, what is the black culture now? Because it's getting lost. I mean, there's a lot of things that were definitely cultural, but that everybody is not doing. And I think that's important that people understand. When you're talking about culture, everybody's doing it. Everybody in some form or fashion is doing it. Now, when they're talking about identity, when they're talking about black people don't know where they come from, they don't have an identity, what I have to say to that is this. For the sake of this video, I actually went to Ancestry.com and I actually wanted to see where was my generations, what was going on in my ancestry. And I was able to trace back some ways. On my great-grandmother's side, I was able to trace back to as far as the slave and the slave owner. And that's as far back as I could go. And the one thing that I wanted to know more about was that slave woman. Who was she? Where did she come from? There's no records of her. They know that she was a slave, but I have no idea where she came from. Where did he get her from? And so that's a story that I feel like is untold. Even on the other sides of my family, to not be able to trace even further back from that is mind-boggling to me, and I want to know more. So I think Black people need to be honest with the whole cultural thing and the whole identity thing. I think it's mind-boggling that the connection to Africa was a big thing during the Civil Rights Movement. With Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, they always spoke about the importance of Black people in America to connect to the African continent. Dr. King was actually him, Malcolm X, and he did say the importance of the Black people in the United States to connect with their African roots. We had W.E.B. Du Bois that settled in Ghana. We had Maya Angelou that also settled in Ghana. We have these very important Black people in the Black community who knew the importance of Black people in the United States of America to connect to the African lineage. And now it's just like a lot of people in the Black community don't want to have anything to do with it, and they wonder why we're still suffering. I don't care what Ghana's Independence Day, nobody can tell me, independent with Kwame Nkrumah being the first president. The Black community was very strong stood there with the civil rights movement, and I do attribute that to the fact that those leaders, countries knew the importance, Africa, including Ghana, keep trying to keep that connection open in the African lineage, and we've lost that. We've lost that connection, and that's the reason why we are trying to find our way. And we trying to identify with whatever we can identify with, and that to me is always going to be a problem. And I do believe that until we actually own the fact that yes, we do have a connection to the African lineage, there's no way that we can run away from that. The music that we talk about, the way we dance, the way we carry ourselves, all of that is an African connection to that, and there's no way anybody's going to tell me any differently. The head wraps that y'all be rocking, that's the African lineage, and I doubt y'all gonna stop rocking it, because a lot of you all know you rocking it when your hair ain't looking nice. There's just a lot of things that we do, and the Black people do in the United States of America that has the African connection weaved all through that, and we have to own that. We really have to own it and stop running away from it, stop trying to erase it, because it does nothing to help our community whatsoever. I'm just saying. All right, y'all, I am Michelle Mazelleغ. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.